I have officially lost the plot because... Ooh, cable mess. What a scary concept. Out of focus video, even more terrifying. But we are in 1080p because... Oh, you... Wonderful piece of Apple computing is unplugged. I see you. American Dank pods, huh? I'll show you the Dank pods experience, huh? With the touch of Bringus Studios. I've seen a couple of his videos, but not like the entire channel, but I have seen Beefy Computer, so you... Is this why it's unplugged? Watch this. Oh, it's also because this is... It made the click noise. Okay, now watch. It's dead. Yeah, so I don't care anymore because... Oh no, whatever will I do with all the other remaining usable computers? Okay, so G5 is dead. iPhone 5S needs to not run on battery power. So minimally edited as possible because isn't that part of the Dank Pods experience, right? I mean, let's face it, at this point it's what am I going to do now? How am I ever going to financially recover from this? G5 is dead. What else do I have to say? It doesn't power on. So I spent all that time reinstalling macOS Leopard for nothing. To be fair, it is still on the hard drive itself, so I could use it with another system. As soon as I introduced another system in the setup, it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, at least I still have the G4, right? Which is ironically, what, 4 years older than the G5? Come on. Yes, this really is a tragedy because it's tragedy. So, okay, what do we have left in the setup? We have Mac Pro, we have the structural G5 itself, which is never going to fail, G4, and also Macintosh. I guess I need to get another G5, right? So, is this going to become like the next part of the desk setup here? Is it going to be like, oh, now I have to unplug it. There we have ADC. Now the display itself does still work, but, so I spent all this time cleaning this when I first got it. I made a decent amount of use with it, actually. And now it's just like, okay, I'm done. And to be fair, it was always like cooked because of this. But now the only usable G5 is like, no. So I guess I now have a new desk setup here because CAD is back. And yeah, it also has a suspension for some reason. So if it's the power supply, I mean, realistically speaking, I don't have any way to fix this at the moment, so I'm basically cooked. No more G5 for you because it said so. Now, I do still have usable components in this. I have not necessarily maxed out the RAM here, but we do have 6 gigabytes. So you like RAM because we have RAM right here in the G5. Now it's completely useless because, yeah. And as for the GPU, it's also a GPU, and we even have... Dude. Now that is epic. Anyways, yeah. Hey, I know. What if we just use Beefy Computer instead? Oh wait, it doesn't work. So I guess we're stuck with the G4 because, oh no, failing hard drive. Only on macOS 9. Don't get me wrong, macOS 9 is awesome, but uh, with that failing hard drive, there's really no good way I can install another operating system because it's basically the macOS 9 drive. Oh, what's that? The hit movie Metro with Eddie Murphy? Yeah, I know, it's pretty cool, right? Oh, what do you mean not this? There's something behind the Beefy Computer? Yeah, I don't see what you're talking about. Anyways, over here, what we're going to do is we're probably going to remove the hard drive from this because this now has basically solid platinum because it's 3 terabytes. Maybe I will take the macOS Leopard install and put it onto another hard drive. Oh wait, what am I talking about? The budget does not exist anymore. If we're at the point where I'm using a failing hard drive inside that system, then you know that what we have is what we have. Yeah, there are other hard drives in the Mac Pro, but obviously it's for the Mac Pro. And what are you talking about behind the Beefy Computer? Anyways, I guess that means I also have to use Windows XP more, and that Dell right there, and maybe the PowerBook, and maybe another Dell, and fine, you want to see what's behind the Beefy Computer? Wait, so you're telling me that if you just, whoa! The hit movie Metro with Eddie Murphy? 2 thumbs up. That's actually just that machine, but we're duplicating it in real time. And as for this one, this is a texture pack. Again, we're duplicating that in real time. So, yeah, there's really nothing all that fancy going on here because, I mean, come on, back at this, no G5. Dude. Anyways, back to this. Believe it or not, George is not home, and we do indeed have even more Macintoshes. For the 2 people who probably got that reference, leave it in the comments below that you actually got it because George is not at home. Beefy Computer, I actually did clean this off camera because there was a lot of dust in this, even though it's not functional right now. I mean, it's Beefy Computer, come on, like, even just as the design itself, we could probably integrate it within the setup itself. But as for these, I don't know, a whole other realm of possibilities because in the Mac dimension here, it seems like they just keep on appearing. So just another day at the office here where we have, I don't know, like I said, I have officially lost the plot here. So, is it copyright free if I make commentary while the song is playing? I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now this is actually a pretty accurate representation of how the setup is off camera because, well, as you can imagine, when you have a lot of different PC towers and Macintoshes, you are basically, yeah, this actually looks a bit small off camera, but it's only just because we have a lot of space to work with here, and I've spent a lot of time trying to make this as optimized as possible. So as you can imagine, having 3 just here, I guess we're gonna have to remove everything. We're gonna have to see what we have here. We're gonna have to, what would Dank pods do at this point? He'd probably go like unintelligible random noises. Oh, I guess House knows the answers. He says CAD technology. But what am I talking about? We got these right here. So if you wanted to see more content of the setup itself and just whatever systems I have, then this video is for you because this is literally like a relatively accurate representation of whenever I'm done with the project and I have nowhere else to put something, I just like put it somewhere. And that G5 itself with CAD technology, that was being unused for the longest time, but it is part of the setup now, so ooh. You know, the sad part about this is that this doesn't have a hard drive, so how am I going to use it? Fortunately, I do actually have a hard drive sitting right here, but that's actually not the hard drive I plan on using inside the system. You know, I was going to save these for individual videos, but at this point, if I go back to this, I would not be surprised if my YouTube analytics has a spike where they keep rewatching this. So I guess we'll keep house alphabet phone here. You know how long this actually takes to, like, if I'm trying to clean a Mac here, it takes like all day to make sure it's properly in good condition, it looks nice, and I have two here that I need to clean up. You can visibly see the dust, and this even has like sticker residue, so yay! That's exactly what I need, even more work for myself. So yeah, going back to this, Power Mac G5 is dead. I mean, I can only use one machine so much at one time, right? So that's why I try to multitask. But even with the multi-monitor setup here, it is still not 100% ideal, because whenever I try to like film a reaction video or just something here, I really gotta fix this, because this thing is so annoying where it like... Oh, what do you mean you wanted a straight desk? Yeah, we cannot afford that in this economy, so it's also exactly why we are using all of these hardware components, because apart from the fact that they will outlast newer components, it is also significantly easier to get an old hard drive compared to a modern SSD or just some slop hardware nowadays. Oh yeah, that one's good. Who said 4x3 was dead? Because here I am recording in 16:9 a bunch of 4x3 Dell monitors. I think that, I don't know. Let's see. So we did the mandatory yelling part of the non-working hardware components. We did a crash out over the failing G5. Honestly, one day it was just working fine, and then it powered off unexpectedly, and I thought that maybe it was... Actually, I don't know what I thought, but I powered it up again, and it did the same thing. And then I powered it up again, and then it powered down even faster. So, and then it just like refused to power on at all. And this has actually been sitting for a long time. Like, I thought that maybe if it sat without any power, like, you know, unplugged, it could potentially fix it. So it's probably the power supply. Honestly, this is technically like capacitor plague era. I know this has bad capacitors. So, I mean, it's actually kind of crazy how long this worked, considering the damage that this has. But at least we have all the memories and all the video content of when this was working. Now, of course, I'm not going to get rid of this. I mean, you really think I'm going to get rid of something like this? That G5 itself doesn't work, and I was able to find a better use for it. So, at least, you know, until I someday fix it, I have no idea when that's going to happen, but I'd rather hold on to it, especially as, you know, more of these get e-wasted because they're old. So in the meantime, I guess I could realistically use this as CAD technology. I don't know why this has a suspension. Like, it's just a scrap piece of CAD material for the bottom, and it just happened to be ever so slightly like curved, so it's making it have a suspension. Honestly, maybe that's exactly what we need for this, or maybe that would actually make it infinitely more worse. To be fair, if you have weight on top of it, it's not like it's gonna move at all. But oh yeah, I also spent like a whole day assembling this, just like I did with that. So I tried to make it better, and the reason why it looks like this is so that way whenever you have something, you can just store it here. So instead of it being wasted space, you can actually just safely store your whatever here. So iPhones or like hard drives or really anything. And I gotta say, this is actually a pretty solid design. We do have vertical reinforcements, and also compared to this where you cannot use the space, this has way more space available. Like, there is so much more behind the scenes that you don't know about. And it's gonna stay like that. Because you're lucky that you get to see these two right now. You don't know how unbelievably lucky you are. You really thought that these were the only Macintoshes I have? Like, seriously? Same goes for PCs too. I mean, like, you really think that I only have a couple of Dell Optiplexes? Like, come on. In a world where everything is slopified, I am creating the Mac dimension, and apparently a lot of you guys really like watching this content. So I'm really glad that I get to make it, because it means I get to work on these systems, and instead of just doing it off camera for fun, like, I can share this. Is this not a good case? It goes ABC, and oh man, that exposure is crazy. So Y2K setup is not going anywhere. We could actually use this in another area and have this for the Y2K setup, because I mean, acrylic plastics, like, come on, that is just peak Y2K, like early Y2K stuff. And you can see a better view of this. This is actually made from scrap components, if you can believe that. So this thing is, yeah, this probably shows the worst part of it, and this is kind of why it has a suspension. But like, these parts are not the greatest, but I mean, that's actually pretty clean. Like, I don't know, I guess we move this, maybe we can power this up again, explore some macOS 9 goodness. Okay, so Power Mac G4 time, right? Now, this doesn't have ADC, so I can't use the display, but we do have VGA displays for this exact reason. So if I get, where are these cables going to? Yeah, it probably helps if I turn on the built-in LED on this camera. So that's the power of 5S technology for you. And let's see, Ethernet there, VGA, is this the right VGA cable? I hope so. Now this does technically have, or not technically, this does have two GPUs, but we're gonna use the the not as powerful one, because it's AGP, and this is AGP graphics. And then I should really make use of this, actually, this power connector. But there we have the G4. There we go. By the way, the Power Mac G4 is using this wireless mouse. Now, this is technically inferior to the Logitech. You know, I should probably use this mouse instead, but this always does this. At this point, I've just accepted it. It's just going to do it. Mac OS 9.2 on our failing hard drive. As you can see, it's loading just fine. And the only reason why I suspect it's still working is because it has partitioned probably like some of the bad parts of the drive. You know, it's Mac OS 9, so it's using like 0 system resources. So we're going back in time here, and we have, why is this all messed up? Probably because I was testing some display resolutions. I forgot, you have to hold down Alt here on the Dell keyboard. So we have network time error. Yeah, we're gonna fix that. I forgot, I was gonna take a look at Sherlock, the fix for it, but you know what, we can do that in today's video, because, oh wait, I was using the G5 to transfer over files to the G4. I'll just set up another system to use it as a bridge machine. I really don't care. And wow, you cannot see anything on this. Oh no, you're submitting a form which is not... Image settings. Auto adjust. It's like the contrast or something, like... Oh, that looks a little bit better, I think. Wasn't there a Sherlock fix on this? Yeah, there it is. Patched Sherlock 2. So live Sherlock reaction. Sherlock 1 for macOS 8.5 to 8.6. Sherlock 2 for macOS 9. Blazing fast technology. This is actually going really fast because it is a very small file. literal future technology. Okay, so I looked at the instructions. I think I got it to work because this is new. macOS 10, now shipping. Meet your new desktop. Also, I don't know how Sherlock 2 works, so I'm gonna have to look at this off camera. But in the meantime, Power Mac G4 Cube. Dude, Power Mac Cube? He just said 3.5 gigaflops.
3.5 gigaflops.
Bro! Dude! The desk setup situation is wild because, anyways, that's about it because, yeah, Power Mac G5 has failed and now we have something to make up for it because, yeah.